Hey guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing Comic Uno's Best Comics of the Week, and this is the show where I review all the comics I read this week in one show. We go least favorite to best pick of the week and everything in between. And before I get started, I do have a Kickstarter going on currently for my book, The Dancer. It's about a dancer slash assassin, and when she was little, she witnessed her parents being murdered in front of her and never dealt with that trauma until now. So hopefully you guys could go check that out. And of course, at the end of the video, we talk about the viewer's pick of the week. So in the comments below, let me know your pick of the week so you have a chance for your comment to be featured on an episode. Now let's jump into this week's haul, which is honestly a pretty small haul. I only had 8 books this week. Number 8 for me was Firepower issue 23. I think this is honestly the lowest this book has been. I love Firepower as a series, but I feel like these recent issues have been so action heavy that the plot has been very slow. It's them trying to defeat the dragon, and there's not much else going on. And in this issue, that's especially true. It's almost a full silent issue. The action was good, but nothing I haven't seen from this series, so it wasn't mind-blowing to accept the fact that there wasn't a lot of story. So honestly, that was my biggest gripe about the issue. And I guess the dragon's kind of defeated, but in the end, the villain's like, no, of course the war is not over. Of course this battle is not over. So it just felt like a very fillerish issue to get to point A to point B. And I just wish the action was had some more story in it, honestly. So overall, giving that 2 stars, and that is number 8. Moving on to number 7, which is Daredevil issue 2, a book I feel like that has lost a bit of momentum since it had its own event and now it's a series again. And this issue, again, kind of sidesteps and has to do something else that's not the main story. It's its celebration legacy number issue. I don't even know what number we're up to on this actually, but I know it's a legacy issue and it's double size, so that means it's also double the price or close to double the price, making it $6. And with this issue, it definitely focuses on characters that maybe hardcore Daredevil fans will know a bit more. It's about his friend from the past. He's kind of a villain now, and they go face to face, and that's kind of the whole issue. Kristen, from Mark Waid's run, might have died. Then he realizes, okay, she's fine. I guess I'm going to marry Elektra now. And that's kind of the full story. I wish there was some bigger punches in such a big issue where it comes to being a legacy issue, or not have a legacy issue at all and just make this a smaller, regular-sized issue, because I don't think it was granted to be a double-sized issue where we just had a full-on event and we just relaunched this series. So overall, giving that 2.5 stars. The art was pretty good for this one, but honestly, the story was a bit lackluster, and it's been harder for me to get into this series again since all the stops of the series. So, like I said, giving that 2.5 stars. Moving on to number 6, which is Miss Marvel and Moon Knight, issue 1. This is part of the crossover Miss Marvel books. I love Miss Marvel, which is why I'm picking this up. I want to see what she's up to. But the team-ups are very surface level. We're not actually seeing what Miss Marvel's up to. It's just like, okay, well, how would Kamala interact with this person that is big in the Netflix realm or big in the MCU? We had the X-Men before. Now we're having Moon Knight because of the whole connection of their shows being released almost at the same time. And I enjoyed this issue to an extent. As just a fun team up, even though it's, a little pricey for a fun team up. It's $4.99. It was cool to see such a dark character like Moon Knight team up with Miss Marvel. But the overarching arc or plot of these team ups are not that interesting. It's not really progressing Miss Marvel as a character. It's just kind of there to connect them. I honestly wish none of these stories were connected. I feel like it would be even stronger if they weren't. I'm still going to continue to pick them up. I'm interested to see how Miss Marvel will team up with Venom and what that's going to look like. But overall, I've been kind of underwhelmed with these, and I just kind of wish we had a Miss Marvel ongoing series instead. But the artwork, honestly, was really good and dark and complex for the team up. It was. Again, it was very conflicting tones, which was interesting to see. So overall, giving that 2.5 stars, and that is number 6. Moving on to number 5, which is Batman Superman World's Finest issue 6. It's a little lower than usual. This issue is a little bit of a filler issue, but if you enjoy the Silver Age style of World's Finest, you get that angle with Robin, with Dick Grayson, and his past with the circus, and that's pretty much the whole issue. It's kind of a one and done, as the rest of the team, I guess we'll call them, is trying to figure out what happened to Robin, as we're all gearing up to this next part that hopefully will tie into the actual continuity of DC Comics when we're getting Batman vs. Robin, which I guess is going to spin out of Robin once that ends. So we are getting into the normal continuity. It's a little hard because I don't know what continuity is right now at DC Comics. But I still had a fun time with this one. It was a different artist for this book, but still up to par of Dan Mora's art style. Mora does such a great job at this one. So overall, I had a fun time, but I think it was a little bit more forgettable than some of the previous issues. So overall, giving that 3 stars, and that is number 5. Moving on to number 4, which is Nightwing, issue 95. And this issue at least moves the plot a little bit more. I'm not as invested in the blockbuster storyline, but he is a big underground character, or criminal underground character. And what was the nicest aspect of this issue is definitely just seeing everyone team up and the sister actually having a little bit more of a part now that she's not undercover, and her actually being able to kind of reveal some secrets because of that as well. What I enjoy the most and what Tom Taylor does great is just seeing the Bat family in general. We get a little bit of Batwoman, and it took about 10 years for Batwoman to admit that she made a mistake not marrying Maggie, which I thought was super interesting. So those are the moments that really shined. The artwork, as always, is so good for this book as well. Again, I don't know if the plot is as strong as I want it to be, but there are some good moments in this one that makes it worth picking up. So overall, giving that 3 stars, and that is number 4. Moving on to number 3, which is Iron Cat, issue 3, and this is just a fun book. You know, speaking of, I was talking about this with DC and continuity. I don't know how this Black Cat relates to the Amazing Spider-Man Black Cat, but I like this Black Cat a little bit more so far. And it's just a fun action adventure. This is something I kind of wish we had with Firepower, where you get to see story mix in with the action. Because this honestly is just an action issue. It's just Black Cat getting her own suit, teaming up with Tony, trying to go against the ex-girlfriend. We get a little plot progression with who the villain is, and it's a pretty simple story, but it's a fun story. The action works, the character works, and it just was a fun issue. So overall, giving that 3.5 stars, and that is number 3. Moving on to number 2, this one went up in the ranks here, and that is Dark Crisis Young Justice, issue 3. If you are a big fan of like the early 2000s Teen Titans or just the original Young Justice, you're going to have a blast with this. There's a lot of references to previous storylines that I think work really well here. We actually get to see some good character work and character building, as we don't really know what's going on with the world colliding with Dark Crisis, who's the real Cassie, who the hell this Cassie is, and where the story is going. But I like that we're kind of on the ride of the other Young Justice team members. We get to see the conflict between the love triangle of Tim Drake and Connor and Cassie. We get to see Bart go up against Deathstroke, Tim go up against Boomerang, who killed his father back in Identity Crisis. So there's a lot of good deep cuts in this issue if you enjoy these characters. Now, if you are new to these characters, it's probably not going to be as enjoyable to you, which maybe is a fault to the book, but I enjoyed the nostalgia of it. I think they work it well. I hope it brings some character development for these characters in the future, and it's not just like, remember this. But I enjoyed this issue, and I'm excited to see where it ends up going. The artwork is pretty solid for the book. There are times where they feel a little stiff, but overall I like the style, and it brings, again, back to that 90s, early 2000s styles as well that we're used to with Teen Titans. So overall, giving that 3.5 stars, and that is number 2. Moving on to number 1, my obvious number 1 pick for me was Do a Powerbomb. I don't know why I was going to say Do It Powerbomb. It's Do a Powerbomb issue 3. I believe every issue has been my pick of the week. It is one of the best books on shelves right now. I don't even like wrestling, and I enjoy this book. I think you can enjoy this book as anybody, really. And I just think the character narrative is just so good. The twists and turns are good. And honestly, this issue doesn't even have a twist and turn. It's just the revelations of the twists and turns that play really well. And then because the artist and the writer is the same person, we get to just see some really amazing layouts here. Just really gritty awesome look at wrestling and just like the different layouts. We get to see like the tournament layout, which I thought looked really cool on the page. But then it's also this relationship between father and daughter does not know is father. So I like that, and I just really enjoy where it's going. I'm enjoying. I'm in for the ride because honestly, it's just a regular sports story, right? It's like, okay, are they going to win? But there's bigger stakes than that. Are they going to win, and is the mom going to become alive? So already there's that layer. And then, always a good story, a good sports story is not just a sports story. It's a character story. And that's exactly what Do a Powerbomb is doing, and doing well, which is why it's such a successful sports story, which we honestly don't get to see enough in comics or really anywhere, I feel like, just the straightforward sports story. I'm really enjoying this one. Like I said, I believe it's one of the best comics on stands. If you are not reading it, go check out Do a Powerbomb, and that is my pick of the week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. This is Comic Uno. Let me know in the comments below what was your pick of the week, and let's talk about the viewer's pick of the week, which was Deceased, and here are some comments about that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. This is Comic Uno, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.